Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonnet, the owner and creator behind Sonnet's Garden Blooms, and in today's video, we are doing a furniture flip. If you've been following along, you will know that I am trying to get rid of my excess hoard. I've been told that people don't like that word. I guess, is it really hoard? It's not like I'm a hoarder. I just want to get rid of some of my excess that I have been collecting. And today I dove into the greenhouse and I pulled out 2 bar stools and a base of a table that I had picked out of the garbage, and we are going to transform them. So stick around and see what I come up with. So here are the 2 bar stools, and you can clearly see I must have had a vision in the past. I wanted to do something with them being cream, like a creamy white, and then I also started to recover them with the black and white buffalo check, and obviously now my vision has completely changed. Here is the base of a table that I had picked out of the garbage, and I'm wondering if when I painted those 2 bar stools, this was near them, and then I decided to paint this the same color, and I had a vision of possibly combining these in a vignette at that point. I can't remember though. But now my vision has completely changed, like I had mentioned, so I am trying to create a vignette or try to really coordinate the items in my booth. So I am painting the base of this little black dress, and I'm applying 1 even coat of the DIY's little black dress to both this table base and to both bar stools. The coverage for DIY paint is crazy awesome. Typically, you only have to apply 1 coat or 1.5 coats is what I call it, just to kind of touch up if there are any areas that need it. Now that I have this side painted, what I do is I like to take it and then flip it over. That way I can see if I missed anything from the opposite way. It's amazing because right now I think everything is painted just perfect. Once I flip this over to paint that top piece, I realized that there were quite a few areas that I ended up missing, and it was just because of how I had it like flipped over. So I recommend definitely when flip it both ways when you are painting it, and you can save yourself so much time. Now on to the chairs, and for starters, what I want to do here is I want to remove the excess fabric from the chair. It was dirty and I wanted to get it down right to the bare bones. I do take, I probably could find, as I was doing this, I'm like, every time I recover a chair, I think about getting a stapler remover, and I need to get one to be part of my arsenal. So I'm using basically a screwdriver, and I'm just prying it up, and then I take my pliers and then pull it out. I mean, it's not super hard, but I think it possibly could have saved me some time if I would have had a stapler remover. So once I get that all removed, I then go ahead and start painting this. I do like to paint all areas of a piece of furniture, so even the underneath. I just feel like it totally finishes your piece, and some people choose not to do that, but that is something that I like to do. So I'm going to paint all the legs, and then I'm going to paint even where that base is on the bottom. I'm going to paint that all black, and again, just 1 even coat to cover the entire bar stool. Now you can see I am at the point where I'm letting all these pieces dry, and that's what I like to do. I just let it dry very thoroughly, and then I come back and I am going to finish the pieces. So I do use my hand sander and I always turn it to the level 1. It really slows things down and you have a lot better control. I also do this outside, even though there is a place that takes in all that excess dust. I mean, as you can see, as I'm doing it, you will be seeing dust fly everywhere. So if you can sand outside, I would highly recommend it. I just randomly go over all of the rungs because I figured that is where people put their feet, and then just randomly on the legs here and there just to give it some wear and tear. Let that white come through along with a little bit of that wood. I do that to both bar stools, and then we are going to finish them up. I bring them back inside. We are going to use Big Top from DIY, and we are going to apply one even coat of Big Top to the entire piece. The rungs I did apply 2 coats to just because I figure people that sit on bar stools, they typically put their feet on those rungs. So I did apply 2 coats to that. So I am going to let these dry very thoroughly, and then let's go back and we will get them recovered. I'm using drop cloth here. I actually had ran to the store and I actually got blue and cream ticking. If you watched last week's video, I actually used that on those tabletops. And let me know in the comments if you guys think I should not use the drop cloth, but go ahead and use the blue and white ticking to kind of coordinate with those end tables. I thought maybe if somebody bought both, they could use them like in their living room, dining room area. I didn't know. I thought after I was looking, I'm like, do you think that goes with it? But it did really well with those end tables, so maybe I should go back. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. But right now, I did end up going with the drop cloth. I just cut a chunk off, and then I take my hand stapler, and what I do is I put a staple in one on one side, one on the other, and then I just start working my way around. This is such an easy process. If you haven't recovered anything before, like any chairs or bar stools, it really is as simple as just keeping your fabric really tight. That's why I put a stapler in on one side and then a staple in on the other to give it to make it really tight. And then as I'm working my way around, I again just make the fabric, pull it, give it a really nice tight and taut so that it's really nice and smooth once you're all done. When I am completely finished and I look and make sure that everything looks perfect, then I take my scissors and I cut off any of the excess fabric underneath. Now onto the base, and again I am just randomly going to be distressing any of the raised areas on here. It's really as simple as that, just very random. Just you can do this by hand as well. Again, I'm doing this outside with big table pieces. It is much easier to do with a hand sander versus like how I like to do wet distressing. Plus, I wanted that bits of wood to pop through as well, and the hand sander makes that so much, it just allows that to happen so much easier than if I were to do this with a wet rig and wet distress it, or even if I was using just a sanding block. So, like I said, randomly all over, and I get this done in no time. So now I am using Big Top again, and I'm going to apply one even coat to the entire piece. Really, there's no reason to do 2 coats. As long as you do a nice even coat, it completely seals the DIY paint. And all the products that I'm using in today's video, you can find on my website at www.sonnetsgardenblooms.com. But with the DIY paint, if you do not seal it, it can be reactivated. So you'll want to seal it with some type of top coat, whether it be poly, Big Top, or a wax. Now I'm going to make a top for this table, and I had found this round a while ago at the hardware store, so I pulled it out of all of my supplies, and I am going to paint it. There's like a really pretty gray from Minwax for the stain. The key here is you want to make sure that your stain is really well stirred. After a stain sits for a while, all that excess sits at the bottom. So I always just make sure that I completely stir it and make sure it's mixed up. I typically wear gloves, but with my cleaning and organizing of my studio, my gloves were inside, and I thought, oh, this will be it really quick and easy. I did end up getting a little bit on my right hand, and a nice tip for you all is, have you used Dawn dish liquid? Dawn is... It helps take off any of that stain that you may get on you. It's amazing what that stuff can help with. So when they show that commercial of taking care of like little critters that were in oil slicks, it really does work, how they use Dawn to clean them. So just a quick little tip for you guys, but I always use like an old rag or like old socks, and I take it and I do this by hand, and I just go back and forth with the grain. I also do the sides, and then the key here is after you guys are done with your rag, do not tie it up and put it in, or do not put it in a plastic bag and tie it up and leave it in your workspace, because it is combustible and it can start a fire. So I would take it and I would put it outside, let it dry, and then get rid of it. I do stain both the top and the bottom of this. After I let it dry for 24 hours, I am going to come back and seal it with top coat. And I do apply 3 coats to completely seal this. That way too, if somebody does use it as like a kitchen table or, for whatever, it is completely sealed. So what did you guys think of the table and chairs? I loved how they turned out. My initial vision obviously had something to do with painting them cream. When I distressed them, I liked how that popped through that little black dress. I also liked how a little bit of that wood finish popped through as well. That really was what I was going for when I did the distressing. And many of you I know ask me, why do you always distress? You don't like it. It is something that I like to do. So if I am reselling these and I know it is very popular in my area to do that, then that's what I'm going to continue to do. If you don't want to do that for your own furniture, I totally appreciate that. But it is something that is kind of like what I like to do in my signature for my furniture flips. So I think I might add something to the top of each of the bar stools. I was looking for, here I'm trying to get organized, and I'm with my organizing, I can't find where I put one of my stencils, and I thought about putting on the center of it an actual stencil. So I think that might be something that I will do before I put them in my booth. So definitely watch for that when I do my booth reveal, and maybe I have added something. Now, Friday's video, so if you guys have been following along, you will know that last week Wednesday on my live, I pulled a box of stuff out, and everyone on my live got to give me ideas and suggestions. We are doing that again this Wednesday, and then any of the excess items, I am going to flip them for Friday's video, just like I did for last Friday. So I think I'm going to do this for probably the month of January. It's something fun. I'm just going to gather a bunch of different items and definitely get them flipped. So you guys have yourselves a great week, and then we will see you guys Friday. Bye.